So, Patrick, tell me, man, what would you say is the most difficult thing about the sport?
What's crazy is I used to feel like it was, the dieting and the hard training. Well, I love training. Yeah. So it's just once you take it to a certain level, of course, it's a lot harder because you're having to lift heavier weights. You just have to push your body to another level if you want to be at the top.
Of course.
Dieting kind of becomes routine. I've gotten to the point now to where I actually diet even if I'm not preparing for a contest because you like that structure. And you know how it is if you're, your girl, you're trying to ask her, hey, what do you want to eat? Just like, I don't know, what do you want to eat? Yeah. I don't know, what do you want to eat? And so it eliminates that because then I'll have to ask those questions.
You already know what you're going to eat.
I'm dieting, so I don't know about you, but I'm going to eat the chicken and rice. And so that becomes routine. What has actually been challenging for myself lately, because coming from basketball and boxing, highly competitive sports, and anyone who's played those sports, you can't play boxing fighting. That's it. It's not really playing. But basketball, any sport where it's competitive, there's going to be a fair amount of trash talk. Yeah. So for me, I brought that same mentality into the sport. That's how I was confident before I started bodybuilding. I didn't, like a lot of guys start bodybuilding because they want to build confidence. Some people have insecurity, so they start working out, and then competing is a byproduct of that. That's not how I started. I was older, I was doing other sports, I was already highly competitive. Well, since I've gotten a big following, and now that I'm obviously more accessible to people worldwide and just in different aspects on social media, some people don't really receive that confidence well. Yeah. What I'm starting to see now is in a sport where you should be confident and optimistic about what you're doing, because we don't go in the gym being pessimistic and insecure on lifting weights. We go in there to take control of our bodies and lift these weights, and we want to form something which is the physique that you present on stage. Sure. So you have to have confidence when you're doing that. But the individuals that I'm starting to come across on the internet, not all, but there are quite a few, they seem to view that as arrogant or prideful. And you can't be. And it's okay. I get it. They don't understand because they're not in my shoes. Sure. They're not athletes. They aren't.
So Monday morning quarterback.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So they're like, oh, well, you should be like this. You shouldn't be like that. And you should be more humble. You should. No, I am humble, but I'm also a competitor at the same time. Right. So I am going to be confident in what I'm doing. I'm going to say that I'm going to win. I'm not going to say I'm shooting for 3rd, 4th, or 5th place. No. Every one of these guys that are training all want to be the best. So dealing with the fans of bodybuilding, I think, has probably been the biggest transition for myself, not actually the sport, itself, because now it's a lot different. Guys that bodybuild back then, there wasn't internet and social media, so they didn't have to deal with that. Only way you had access to them was you'd have to buy the magazine, and then you'd read the editorial, the printout, and that was that. You couldn't hit them up on Instagram or Facebook and
constantly critiquing.
Yeah, constantly critiquing. Oh, I hate that shit. If you do your triceps grow, you'll win Miss Olympia. If you get your traps bigger, you'll win Miss Olympia.
Have you really heard the tricep comment?
Dude, it's on my YouTube.
Because I would say your triceps don't need any work.
Some guys, these people probably don't have. The ones that are saying that have never done a tricep extension in their life properly. I'm just being honest, because when you go and say that kind of stuff to someone, and like it's just that easy. it's hard to build muscle.
Absolutely.
That's not an easy
lean muscle, right?
Yeah. So kind of like what I'm experiencing is, if you're great in jewelry, right? This would be the equivalent of what the fans do. Would be the equivalent of me coming into your office and saying, hey, you should cut this diamond this way. Yeah. It probably would be better if you did it this way. You're gonna look at me like, man, are you silly? Dude, this is what I do. I've been doing this for some time, which is why you develop such a great reputation. Same thing for a bodybuilder. We train and we know where our weaknesses are, we know where our strengths are, so we focus on that. So like I said, when you're dealing with people who think you should be a certain way and they're not in your shoes, trying to get them to understand your persona, is just being challenging. Yeah. And some of them are starting to get it now because they're like, oh, that's just how he is. It's no harm, no foul. Yeah. He's just confident, which as I should be. And if I'm the champion, I'm really going to be confident because this is my title. It's my crown.
Yeah, well, I think you make a great point, because if you have a mindset of going into a battle,
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's a sport or a real battle, and you're already defeated, then you know the outcome is going to be defeat.
Yeah.
But if you go in with that outcome that you're going to win, right, then the likelihood that you're going to win is based on that mindset that you've got.
Exactly, because you're going to be driven.
Yeah.
I'm not going in the gym to train for second place.
Exactly.
I have to train like every guy out there is trying to beat me. And when I'm presenting myself on social media, I'm trying to create a brand around what I'm doing. So I have to be confident in what I'm doing. I'm not going to be reserved and pessimistic. Like, no, it may come off a little aggressive, but it's only because that's my job. I have to attack this dream of becoming Mr. Olympia. So
absolutely,
I have to go after it. I can't be reserved.
Time is limited. You know that.
Yeah.
And you know that mindset is everything.
Yeah.
And that balance between arrogance and cockiness. Though people that don't understand that probably won't ever understand.
Yeah, I have to have some confidence, and that's a fine line, like you said, for the ones that don't understand it. But for the ones that do, they're like, no, there's a big difference.
Yeah.
If I was cocky, I'd run around and say, no one's ever going to beat me. I'm the best. No one can ever beat me. I'm the greatest. No. I'm simply saying, I'm going to win. Mm-hmm. I want to beat every single person, and I want to be the best.
Right.
Like, that's it. And if I lose in a process of becoming that, then that's fine. I'm just going to come back.
It's part of the process.
It's part of the process.
Absolutely. Yeah.